Laying on the bed, Van struggled to open her eyes, feeling the exhaustion in her limbs. The continuous ringing of her alarm was disturbing her sleep, urging her to wake up, but she couldn't find the energy to move. With a groan, she reached out to silence the alarm. Finally managed to shut off the alarm, she let out a heavy sigh, her eyelids fluttering open lazily. One eye remained half closed, while the other blinked blearily at the dim light filtering through the curtains. She shifted on the bed, trying to find a comfortable position. Her body protested against her body protested against the early hour. She settled back, the soft pillows, her hand absentmindedly reached out to the other side of the bed, but her fingers met nothing but empty sheets. Her eyes shot open. She looked at his side and found the place empty. She followed her brows until she heard the water running in the bathroom. Her mind drifted back to the argument they both had last night. It played like a reel in her head, remembering the harsh words they said to each other. But she sighed as she heard the door of the bathroom open. She placed her head back on the pillow, pretending to be asleep. They never get up without each other from the bed. There's no morning kisses today, no sweet talks. She peeked at him from one eye, who was already wearing his suit for office. She wants to get up too, but she felt discomfort in her stomach since her periods yet are near. Gosh, it's going to be a difficult day, she knows for sure. She got up from bed finally and made her way towards the bathroom without sparing a glance at him. Yes, Mr. Lee. Yes, we will be there in 15 minutes. She said on the phone to her secretary as she combed her hair. The phone was on the speaker. Jungkook was trying his shoes while comfortably sitting on the sofa. Please ensure that everything is prepared for the meeting. Yes, the presentation slides should be ready for projection. And make sure the refreshments are set up in the conference room as well. Also, please inform the team that I expect everyone to be punctual. This meeting is crucial and we need to be on top of our game. I'll be, ma'am. And you don't have to worry about a thing. Do you want anything else? Oh yeah, one more thing. Could you please have the latest sales report printed out for me? I want to review them before the meeting begins. Sure, I will do it right away. Great, thank you. She hung up the call. Now she gathered her hair and tied into a neat bun, a strand of hair framing her face delicately. She smoothed on a light coat of lipstick. Her gaze flickered to Jungkook, who sat on the edge of the bed, his brows knitted in frustration as he attempted to knot his tie. He was looking at the small mirror beside bed table. She couldn't help but stifle a sigh, knowing damn he struggled with tying his tie, but she couldn't understand why. There is no rocket science in it. A groan escaped his lips, but she pretended not to hear. Her attention focused on checking her appearance in the mirror one last time. Satisfied with her appearance, she reached for her bag. Jungkook moved towards the dressing table, his fingers fumbling with the silk fabric of his tie. Damn it! Cursed, and she finally exhaled, making her way towards him just before he was ready to throw his tie on the floor. She stood in front of him, their eyes met, but he quickly averted his gaze and was about to turn around, but she grabbed his cloth wrist, turned him back to face her. She didn't look up at him and just extended her hand for the tie. Jungkook opened his mouth to protest but closed it back, knowing that he had meeting and he have to look presentable, so he handed her the tie. She immediately focused on tying his tie effortlessly. Jungkook looked here and there but not on her face, trying to avoid her. As she was done, she simply moved away from him. He adjusted his collar and sighed. He used to peck her lips whenever she do his tie, and today the air around them is so awkward. At one point, it almost felt suffocating. They both are married for almost 8 months now. But theirs was not a love marriage, it was an arranged one, a decision made by their parents. However, from the moment they met, there was an instant connection between them. They clicked right away, feeling comfortable and at ease in each other's presence. Jungkook was sweet and total gentleman, winning Van's heart with his respectful demeanor from day one. He treated her with love, showing her respect all the time. It was no surprise that Van couldn't help but fall for him, even though his gentleman on the other side, his total tease, never shying away from the bold romantic gestures. In fact, he is always the one to initiate such act. Last night's argument was something they both were not ready for. It could have been solved with calm mind, but 1 month after one, and it quickly escalated into heated argument. But now here they are. I do like to begin by discussing the latest sales report. As you can see, our members have been steadily increasing over the past few months, indicating a positive trend in consumer demand. They all were present in the meeting. Van and Jungkook company were collaborating with one other company, and now everyone was present at the table discussing about the strategies. Exactly, I have noticed that too. The collaboration is proving quite beneficial. People are loving what they have seen so far in our focus groups. Once we launch our marketing, sales should go up a lot. Exactly, I have been going over the latest sales reports. Gotta say, I'm impressed. Our efforts to expand our products and reach new customers are paying off. Vine nodded her head. As the meeting progressed, her discomfort intensified, a sharp pain stabbing at her abdomen like a dagger. The pain getting worse by each second. She gritted her teeth, willing herself to remain composed despite the wave of pain crushing over her. She couldn't afford to show any signs of weakness, especially not in front of the board members and her colleagues. But as she thought that was a bad day for her, she rarely has sore pain every month, and she usually take break that time. But she couldn't now because of the meeting. She vowed to keep her focus on the discussion. She shifted in her seat, subtly trying to find a position that would lessen the stabbing pain in her abdomen. Moving on, let's discuss our marketing strategy for the upcoming product launch. We need to make sure that we are targeting the right demographic. Her mind racing to keep up with the conversation even as her body rebelled against her. As the discussion progressed more and more, breathing became shallow. Her fist clenched under the table tightly. She glanced around the table, hoping no one would notice the bead of sweat forming on her brow. Vine, do you have any thoughts on the pricing strategy for the new product? Vine froze as all eyes turned towards her. She panicked as she realized she missed the discussion. What was that again? Jungkook furrowed his brows at a lack of attention, but sighed when Mr. Park repeated his question, and Vine forced a smile and started to explain while trying to endure the pain. But as the meeting stretched, like the minutes were passing like years, she couldn't sit there any longer. I apologize, but I need to excuse myself for a moment. Please carry on without me. She interrupted, her voice strained as she struggled to hide the pain in her tone. She hurried out of the boardroom, her step faltering slightly as she made her way to the nearest restroom. Once inside, she leaned against the sink, her breathing rigid as she tried to regain control over her body. Damn it, why does this have to happen now? Of all the days, the pain was relentless, stabbing at her like 1,000 needles. Taking a deep breath, she splashed cold water on her face, hoping to numb the ache even just a little bit. I could be at home, curled up in a bed with a hot water bottle, not here trying to pretend everything's fine. Her hand trembled as she reached for a paper towel, dabbing at her forehead to wipe away the sweat that had gathered there. She leaned heavily against the sink, her hand clutching her stomach tightly as she felt already exhausted but the day just started. Okay, Vine, you can do this. Just a few more hours and then you can go home and rest. You have got this. It's been 15 minutes, and Jungkook eyes were continuously darting towards the door. The meeting was still going on, and he don't know exactly how long it would take more. But his concerned eyes just wanted to see Vine because she never leave meetings like this. Before that, he noticed how she was continuously shifting on her chair. He really wanted to ask her what happened, but first, he couldn't because of meeting. Second, they were not talking to each other. Despite them not talking to each other, they care about each other and its chores. Jungkook's patience was wearing thin, so he decided to stand up to check on her himself. When the door on the meeting board opened, he looked up to see Vine finally making her way back to her seat. Sorry for the interruption. Let's continue. She spoke apologetically. He stared at her for a moment, her eyes meeting his briefly before she redirected her attention to the meeting. As the car stopped in front of the house, Vine wasted no time in getting out of the car, her eyes fixed on the ground. The ride home was silent, neither of them saying a word. She almost dozed off in the car because of exhaustion. She headed straight for her room, She didn't bother with greetings or small talk. All she wanted was to be alone. She dropped everything on the bed with a heavy thud, including herself. She felt overwhelming. Almost the pain was unbearable. She wanted to get rid of the pain in her legs and abdomen, curling into a tight ball on the bed. She closed her eyes, the tear of pain and exhaustion finally breaking free. The cramps were always there, but today it was practically unbearable. She felt like she was at the breaking point. She really wanted Jungkook to be with her. He was always with her, giving her chocolates, they cuddle, and he showered her with love until she fell asleep. But today she couldn't ask him, and he probably wouldn't even notice. Meanwhile, Jungkook locked the main door and removed his coat, feeling exhausted from the hectic day. As he opened the door to open, he froze at the sound of a whimper coming from the bedroom. His heart sank as he saw Van curled up in a ball, clutching her stomach in pain, her belongings scattered around her. Standing there in her doorway, he suddenly realized what he had failed to see before. He facepalmed himself in frustration, cursing under his breath. How could he be so oblivious? He had noticed her discomfort during the meeting. It had not clicked until now. Feeling like a complete idiot, he closed the door quietly and walked away, leaving her alone in her pain. He berated himself for not recognizing the sign sooner, for not being more attentive to her needs. He rolled his sleeves and headed towards the kitchen. He quickly busied himself preparing her favorite soup. He remembered the recipe she loved, so he started chopping vegetables and simmering a pot of hearty soup on the stove. While the soup cooked, he rummaged through the cabinets until he found a heating pad. Remembering how much she relied on it during her periods, he plugged it in and let it warm up. Once the soup was ready, he laid it into a bowl and placed it on a tray along with the heating pad. Carrying it carefully, he made his way towards their room. Entering the bed, he found Vine still curled up on the bed. He approached her, setting the tray down on the bedside table. Vine was trying hard to sleep, but the pain was unbearable. She heard the footstep approaching, but she didn't move, too lost in her discomfort. Suddenly, she felt the bed tip beside her, and then she was enveloped in a warm hug. She felt the tender brush of his lips near her ear as he pressed a kiss against her skin. She froze, not expecting it at all. All she thought she would spend this night alone too. Is it hurting a lot? He murmured softly. Why didn't you tell me before? She turned in his embrace and broke down, her tears flowing freely. It was just not the pain that brought her to tears, but the flood of emotions that washed over her at finally hearing his soft voice and feeling his gentle touch after a long day and night of silence. We were not talking, and I thought you won't care. He tightened his hold on her. He really never saw her breaking down like this. His own heart itching, so he softly kissed her belly. Even if you fall, it doesn't mean I will stop caring about you. You are my wife, my other half, and these falls happen between couples, but it does not change a thing. I'm still the same person who deeply loves you, just as I was before we fought. So please don't you dare to hide your pain from me. She hid her face in his chest, holding him tightly because even if for one night she missed him a lot. It's okay, sweetheart. I'm here, okay? Now let me take care of you. He spoke continuously, stroking her stomach. She knew he didn't lie. He do take care of her. Look what I brought. Your favorite soup. He spoke, wiping her tears. His touch soft and soothing as he cradled her like a baby. Come on, sweetheart. Let's set you up. You can eat. But I don't want to sit up. It hurts too much. I know, but you need to eat something. It will make you feel better, promise. Gently coaxing her into a sitting position, he propped up the pillows behind her back, ensuring her comfort before spooning some soup into a bowl. Here, open up, let me feed you. She looked at the spoon and at him, then parted her lips. He fed her a spoonful of soup while he continued to stroke her hair. How is it? Is it helping? It's delicious. He smiled softly, but as the drop of soup slipped down her lips, he chuckled softly before wiping it away with a tissue. Look at the tough sea of being a baby. He pouted. He placed a tender kiss on her forehead. After she finished eating, he retrieved the heating pad he had earlier before. He placed it on her stomach, adjusting the temperature to her liking. He then handed her a painkiller, making sure she took it with a glass of water. This will help you. Thank you, she smiled softly as he narrowed his eyes. What did I say about thank you? She smiled, remembering his words. He kissed her forehead. You don't need to thank me. Taking care of you is my privilege, my duty as your husband. Her heart swelled with warmth at his words, feeling a rush of love for the man sitting beside her. Always knew exactly how to comfort her in her times of need. Now I need to wash this and then I will be back. No, don't. You can wash them later. Besides, you are tired too. But just lay beside me, please. Fine, as my lady says, but before that, what about your makeup and suit? You gonna sleep in this office attire? Wouldn't it be uncomfortable? It is, but I don't wanna move. She mumbled softly with exhaustion in her voice. He sighed, nodding his head. Then let's get you in something comfortable. When your husband is here, you don't have to worry about a thing. He helped her remove the makeup and change into more comfortable pajamas. While him taking care for her, she couldn't wipe the smile off her face. He turned off the lamp, laid beside her, pulling the comforter over them, board to keep them warm. He wrapped his arm around her, pulling her closer to him. They kept staring at each other with something in their mind, and both opened their mouth at the same time. I'm sorry. A chuckle escaped from both of them. I'll go first. Last night, I shouldn't have let things escalate like that. I should have understood your concern too. And I shouldn't have said those hurtful things. I know I hurt you too. I realized later you were right in your own place. I was trying to defend my perspective without considering yours. I promise I'll be more understanding in the future. You were right too, Jungkook, but I promise to communicate my concerns more clearly the next time without letting my emotions get the best of me. Then it's settled. Let's move past this. We have always learned something from these moments, don't we? Yes, we do. And finally, I can hold you. Last night was hell without you. What have you done to me that I can't go a day without you? She chuckled, leaning in as she kissed his jawline. Me too. He smiled, pulling her closer as he slightly pulled her shirt up and placed his hand on her belly before caressing her softly to soothe her pain. She blushed, hiding her face in the crook of his neck. He was really blessing in her life.